Hey, y'all, when it comes to the AC business, trust goes a long way, and that's why I recommend Cool Kings Heating and Air. The good folks at Cool Kings are licensed and experienced technicians that provide the top-notch service that you deserve throughout Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas. They offer everything from emergency AC repair to complete AC replacements and maintenance plans tailored to keep your system running all year round. And right now, you can get financing on a brand new heating and cooling system totally interest-free. That's 0% interest on a brand new system. Give them a call at 225-681-2665 for more information, or visit them on the web at coolkingsheatingandair.com. Cool Kings Heating and Air is a verified partner of Local Leaders, the podcast. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Local Leaders, the podcast. I'm very proud and excited to have sitting across from me Senator Rick Edmonds, who is the 6th District Senator in Louisiana. So before we go any further, I want to say welcome to Local Leaders, the podcast.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. It's my first podcast with you.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe we'll make this an ongoing thing.
We're going to make it happen.
So you are, as I said, the 6th District Senator for Louisiana. And today I'm going to take the people, the listeners that maybe are not as familiar with you, we're going to take them on a little ride, like a This Is Your Life type of thing.
Yeah, you bet.
So you grew up in Shreveport.
I did. It was a great city to grow up in. My dad and Cindy's dad were both best friends in a little town on the Arkansas-Louisiana border called Plain Dealing.
Yes, I've heard.
It really is a real town, Plain Dealing, Louisiana. They were in high school together.
Oh, wow.
My dad was a little short quarterback, and her dad was a big strapping fullback. And he went on to Louisiana Tech, got all his education stuff. My dad came to Shreveport and went to work at Libby Owens Ford Glass Factory, and later on started a business called Louisiana Fence Company. And all along the way, we would see her dad. He was a high school football official and a baseball and all that stuff, and I played sports. And we'd see my dad never called him JB. He always called him Hawkeye. That was a nickname from high school. And then that whole story says that I ended up with that guy being my father-in-law, which I never called JB. I called him Big Daddy.
Sure.
He was about 5'10", 245. And
wow.
And married to his daughter. We've been married our whole adult life. We've done nothing since teenagers.
Yeah.
We've got 4 sons and 4 beautiful daughter-in-laws, 8 grandchildren. We are blessed and highly favored. 8
grandchildren.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have no grandchildren yet. I have a son and 2 daughters who are getting close to the age where grandchildren will start coming along. But I always hear from people that do have grandchildren that it's a whole different world. You love your kids, but wow, do you love your grandkids?
You love them because, I can only tell you this: when you get 8, you better watch out for birthdays because it'll break you in the wallet. Because whatever they want, you're going to do your best to get it for them. That's what's going to happen.
That's a great point. And you mentioned your wife Cindy, who you affectionately said off the record, I guess you could say, that when they meet her, you're much like me. You kind of disappear in the background a little bit.
It's almost like they say in New York, forget about it, because you're going to be with Cindy. She is like never meets a stranger. Her dad was that way.
Yeah.
He just never met a stranger. He was a great educator, coach, all of that kind of stuff. And so she's just that person. She's just full of life, and she's the love of my life.
Yeah, and high school sweetheart. 50 plus years,
right.
Or close to 50 years.
That's right.
Very good.
Yeah. She says she still likes me too.
Yeah. That's an accomplishment.
That's a pretty good deal.
Absolutely. You've done a good job, sir. So you moved on. You eventually graduate from East Texas Baptist University.
Yep.
You also have is it an honorary doctorate from New Orleans Theological Seminary?
And all of our divinity work was done at New Orleans, which is kind of like a law degree for theology.
Yeah.
I graduated from New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary, a lot of words, but yeah, it's a great school, tremendous, very conservative theological education. My undergraduate work was the same. I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in that particular school, but also did English and history as my double minor. So, I've been blessed to be educated. My dad finished with 11 years and I'm the first Edmonds anywhere in the whole family tree that graduated from any university, and certainly not doing doctoral work and master's work and all that stuff. But that was just sort of the way it fell in my lap. My parents told me I could do anything, be anything, and treated me. I'm an only child, so I tell people in church all the time because they know I'm an only child, and I say, just get over it. So because I was spoiled, and I am. Sure. I mean, I am spoiled. My parents have passed on, gone to heaven, and but man, it was never a day that they didn't treat me like I was like the greatest winner.
Yeah.
So I've been blessed with just such great confidence. They did it. I mean, they just did. My mother was my greatest teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go outside and play. I played all the sports and everything, but when it was time to study, you come in the house. I mean, she drilled me on vocabulary, math, facts. I mean, it was until it was perfect.
Sure.
And that's how I grew up. It's just education was super high important to my parents, and my mother just was a phenomenal teacher.
Yeah.
She didn't have a degree, but she was a great teacher.
Wonderful. And you obviously faith, big part of your life, even at that early age, right?
Yeah. Well, I felt called to ministry. I don't have any grandfathers or great-grandfathers. I don't have anybody in ministry, but I felt very strong. One of my best friends in high school who was an absolute reprobate, rock and roll guitar player, long hair, blue jeans. I mean, the whole bit looks like exactly what you'd picture. And he got dramatically saved. And my mother told me, she said, "Hey, Gil's going to be speaking at the church on one of Friday night, Monday night, whatever night it was." And I said, "Oh, no, not Gil." And she said, "Oh, yeah, Gil's going to be speaking." And I just didn't believe it was true. I had to go see it to believe it.
Yeah.
And he'd been dramatically changed. And I listened to him, and I just felt like God was speaking to me and said, "This is what I can do with your life." And I've done ministry my whole adult life. Cindy and I have been in multiple churches and on the road in 30 states during our early years. So it's just been great. I mean,
a lot of mission work.
I'd have to stay on your podcast, multiples, to tell you how blessed I am.
I'm ready for it. Yeah. And you've obviously done a lot of mission work as well, all over the world.
Never been anywhere. My parents never been on an airplane till I ended up getting on a plane and going to Israel. That was one of the first places I ever landed.
Yeah.
And then into center part of Africa and halfway down Central America, and it's life-changing. Unbelievable. Yeah. Some people ask me, they say, "What's your favorite mission trip?" And I go, "All of them." Every one of them.
That's it.
It was every one of them has been amazing.
Yeah. And, I say often that people that don't realize how good they have it in this country have usually never been to a country that doesn't have it so good. Right?
When you see a little woman that's a Christian woman, got great faith, and she's sweeping a dirt floor in her 10 by 10 house, and the only electricity she's ever seen is an extension cord that's running 200 feet to somewhere she can get something in her house, and that's her house.
Yeah,
and she's trying to keep her dirt floor clean, and that's not an exaggeration. And you look up and think, man, that's faith. And I remember that little lady. She was in Central America, and of all the things she asked for, she said, I had a translator, and the only thing she wanted was some Bibles for all of her family. And we got several thousand Bibles and shipped them to her, and I had a person there that could distribute, and we put them out for an area that was about 50,000 people. We didn't get them all, but we got a bunch of them in there.
Yeah.
And that's all she wanted. She didn't ask for any money. She didn't ask for food. She didn't ask for anything. She just asked for Bibles.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah. And it'll change your life seeing something like that.
Yeah, you bet.
So we're going to fast forward a little bit. And, you live this life of faith and very important to you. And at some point, I think it was somewhere around 2015, you decide, I'm going to run for a political seat for the state of Louisiana. Tell me about that. First of all, what what motivated you?
All right, so this is it take me a second here, but it's really a crazy story.
We got it.
I'm sitting in waiting in between multiple services, and I'm looking at a magazine, and it's got Phil Robertson on the front of it, Duck Dynasty, guy, Louisiana, right? Northeast Louisiana. And there he is. He's being torn apart about his Duck Dynasty program, and he will not compromise his faith. And I'm sitting there reading the article in between church services, and I felt like the Lord said, "You're not doing enough." And man, I just said, "Well, yeah. I mean, I'm working hard here, you know." And I just felt, "You're not doing enough." And I stepped away from that and stepped in, and I never planned on it being that way. It wasn't really. I didn't have a strategy, but I came home and was watching the guy that was in my area. I didn't think that the vote was going the way it should, and spent a lot of time in the Louisiana legislature. And I came home after a couple of months of that, and I told Cindy, I said, "You know, if this doesn't change, I'm going to run for state representative." And in 2015, I ran for state representative against the incumbent and was successful.
Wow.
And as soon as I got in, I was immediately appointed by then the chairman of the Appropriations Committee. His name was Cameron Henry. And he called me. I was in Reagan Airport and doing a little work in D.C., and he said, "Hey, I need you on I'm a freshman. I'm not served on any committees, and I'm about to make my request, and I wasn't going to ask for appropriations. It's the strongest, most powerful position in state government, really."
Sure.
And he called me. He said, "I need you on Appropriations Committee." And I went. He called me. I'm not a man with little words, but he got me. And he said, he goes, "Look, it's going to take a big ask, so don't worry about it. If you know this ask is going to take a lot of your time." And I said, "Well, let me pray about it real quick." And I did, and I called him back, and he said, "Oh, good. Be in the Speaker of the House office tomorrow morning." I was in D.C. I'm flying in late. Got to be at 10 o'clock. I was there at 10 o'clock.
Wow.
And it changed my whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it was politically. I became involved. Now this is my 11th year, starting my year number 11 in the Louisiana legislature. Yeah. And I've been on appropriations the whole time. Same thing over in the Senate. Now I'm chairman of the Senate Education Committee. All this just, I can't explain it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm that blessed.
Wow.
I know it sounds like a stretch for people. I know it does.
No, I get it.
It's just what's happened. Yeah. And now just the bills we're able to pass, accountability things and partnership that we've been able to do, it's amazing.
Yeah, and throughout my research of your political career, I did one of the bills that really stuck out to me that you authored was in relation to stiffer penalties for drunk drivers.
Yep.
You worked in collaboration with Mad Mothers Against Drunk Driving on that bill. Super important. Man,
let me just tell you, you're talking about move your heart. Is that when you're sitting there and you're at the committee table and you're pushing for a bill, and there's the Mothers Against Drunk Drivers sitting right behind you, mothers all in a row with all the pictures of their child or their teenager that they've lost.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there on the front row. And it gives me chills talking to you about it. And they'd had some difficulty trying to pass that bill, and lo and behold, we passed it. And had another section we had to pass. The Senate, we passed another piece as well. So both on the House and the Senate, we were able to pass some legislation for Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. And man, you talking about bless you back. I mean, they put you in a circle and start thanking you, and you just it's almost like you can't accept it because they've had such a great loss. But they were standing for our community, for our children and our grandchildren, that we might be protected a bit better. And you hope that in your life you do something that matters. That's just one, but that's one bill that you're able to research that you think, man, I got to do this. I can't believe I got to do it. And I watch my church folks, my family, my community, and it's just a blessing. And
it really is.
Love doing it too, by the way, Jim. I love what I get to do.
Yeah. I can tell you light up when you talk about it.
I do. I just love it. I mean, it's amazing how much I get to do that behind the scenes. It's a lot of work, but man, it is really beneficial to your heart. Yeah, and you're a big man of faith, and you go into this political spectrum, and you hear the was it a culture shock for you initially? Was it? Ooh, I gotta. Well, this is a sharky world. I had started some of that work outside of the church pastoring work with the Louisiana Family Forum.
Yes.
Gene Mills is a longtime friend of mine, over 20, 25 years. And so, no, it wasn't shocking because I had been working with some legislators and trying to influence them, help them, guide them in what were good, strong family principles and core values that we think really matter.
Yeah.
And so kind of had a good idea.
You were familiar with the world a little
pretty
bit.
good idea.
Very
and
good.
we got some really good people that don't get the real fair shake when it comes to a lot of the media. Maybe sometimes people think that legislators are, they're just not really good people. There's some really great people in the legislature.
Yes.
Just like all walks of life, they may see some guidance or they may need some instruction or a little help. But once you find out that you're not preaching to them or down, you're not judging them, you're just trying to help them.
Right.
It becomes a great camaraderie. So I'm real proud of our legislators, and they work hard. They're trying to get it right.
And obviously, you're a Republican, very pro-life.
Yep.
Family values, very important to you.
It's just people don't ask me to change them because it's just who we are, and it's just our life. I mean, Cindy and I are still in love. Our kids, my sons are my best friends.
Yeah.
They were at the house last night. We had a couple of kids' birthday party. A couple of them landed, so Cindy wanted to have them over. So she makes her version of Cane's chicken fingers and makes some steaks and whatnot. And the kids are all in the house. And my boy's sitting around with me at the dining table, just talking about everything under the sun, whether it's LSU football or whatever we're doing. That's my boys, and they really are. It's happened for me that way. And can I tell you, sometimes I almost have to apologize. I know everybody's life doesn't work out that way. And
sure.
And listen, I know, God is big and He's always there to try to help people reach their best in their destiny. And I've lived most of that. Each chapter a little bit different. Doesn't mean I've never had a problem. Doesn't mean that there has not been issues. But if I could write my life story, it'd be a great book.
Yeah,
it would be.
I'd read it.
Well, and I was just saying that to say that's just kind of how I've been able to live, and that's where I'm at in this chapter of my life. And this one just as fun and challenging as all of them have been.
Sure, and I do want to mention as well, when we were talking about notable bills, there was another one that came across to me, and that was the HB 54, which is known as the Adoption Deception Bill.
Yep.
It was you essentially helped author this bill that made it a crime to exploit adoptive mothers.
Yes.
Something that most people probably don't even realize existed.
They were running advertisements in some other states saying, if you want a way to make this happen, come to Louisiana.
Wow.
That was happening. In 2015, I'm knocking on a door. And as I knock on the door and I'm going neighborhood by neighborhood, here I'm knocking on the door, and I knock on the door and the guy comes and he says, "You're Rick Edmonds." And I went, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Would you like to come in and sit down?" I don't know this guy. I never met him before. And I said, "Sure." And I come in to sit down, and he said, "Hey, I want to introduce you to my little girl." And she comes around the corner. And he tells me his story of how they had paid all their dollars to adopt this beautiful little girl, and they were so happy. And the long story short, because we don't have time, but here's what happened, is her biological little brother, they were going to adopt as well. And that baby was stolen from them and ended up less than probably 15 miles as a crow flies away from them.
Yeah.
And that all happened with people abusing our adoption laws, and we have now shored much of that up so that families that spend all of these major dollars trying to adopt don't have somebody deceiving them and using them, that really all they want to do in life is have a baby. They just want to have a child.
Right.
And broke my heart for them and other couples that's been on WBRZ, WFB, carried these stories. And I didn't know these people, and they ended up at my doorstep or ended up at theirs. And we were able to almost every session since I've been in the legislature, I have passed almost every year, an adoption bill that strengthened adoption causes for our families in Louisiana.
That's wonderful. Do want to talk about the fact that you are now running for a completely different, a completely different seat and a completely different side of Louisiana government, and that is the House of Representatives, and a seat that was formerly held by Julie Letlow. Tell me about that, the decision to do that.
We've been watching that for several months, and I think Congresswoman Letlow was waiting on President Trump to decide whether he would or would not endorse or not, and that happened very quickly, but kind of late, really, because it was kind of – so we've been looking at it for several months, waiting and thinking and praying and just hanging on to see what would happen. And just a couple of weeks ago, that did happen. President Trump dropped a an endorsement on a Saturday night late, and we were ready to go. Because we felt like there's something we could go in. You know, America's soul is, and it's not for sale, but America's soul is on attack.
Yes.
So much of the things that we believe in, that our forefathers and many have fought and died for, it seems like it's either on the chopping block or it's certainly almost discredited by certain people. And that, you know, I want to run to my friend Mike Johnson, who is the Speaker of the House I've known for years, and he was a deacon in my church for 10 years.
Really?
And
that's interesting.
That man, you're talking about a great man of faith. His wife too, Kelly. You're talking about great people. I just want to run to Washington and help every way I can. And you have to be convinced that you won't back down, that you'll have the courage, that you'll make the vote, that you'll do what's you're ready to get in the grind. You'll do what you got to do. Doesn't matter what the news media says. Doesn't necessarily matter what the critics say. But you'll stand by a guy. There's not a better guy than Mike Johnson. He is the real deal in every way and brilliant. He's that guy.
Yeah.
And so one big part of me is that I just think that this seat, and I think we know what it means. It means that you have to stand your ground. And if you're not willing to stand the ground, you probably don't want to get in this.
Yeah.
And I just think that I've been prepared now I'm working on year number 11, and all the things we've worked on, whether it's education, whether it's accountability, whether it's fraud, waste, and abuse, whether it's all the budgets that I've had to be a part of, I think I'm fully ready, and I think my grounding is that I'm willing to run to the fight and help someone make certain that Americans can win and stay alive in the great heritage that we have. I'm blessed. But one of the reasons I'm blessed is because I grew up in America.
Amen.
This is a great nation, and I will not forfeit that value. Win or lose, you're not going to change my mind or my heart. This is something that every man and woman that runs for office today has to understand, that this threat is very real, and what's happening in America is not for sale. We got to fight for what we believe in, and we got to stand in the gap and do the things necessary that America can continue to win.
Amen to that. And you certainly don't seem like a man who can be influenced by, outside of your convictions and what you believe. And I love that. Let's talk about AI just quickly. Something that, you've been in politics a little while, and this was not an issue 12 years ago. Nobody was talking about AI. Some good things with AI, especially in the business world, certainly helps with productivity in a lot of cases, but a lot of bad things with AI as well. I mean, you're seeing situations where children are being what they call sextorted. They're actually taking pictures and making pornography out of AI-generated photos of children.
Yeah, I have a bill that's it's in the hamper right now to deal with that very issue. Because we had a case down, it's been several months ago, but that was going on pretty strong.
Yes.
And here in Louisiana.
It's exactly the case I'm referring to.
Yeah, we'll pass legislation I'm so confident that we'll pass legislation this session, and the governor will sign it, that will take a new level of protection. But let me just say a word about AI. I think you've opened up a pretty good can, and it is, we're going to have to deal with it. There's no question about that.
Yes.
And here's how I view it. The internet is both. It's great and it's terrible.
Amen.
It's both.
Yeah, it really is.
I go in and do research. I can find more things on the internet now of good value, easy. I don't have to necessarily go to every library to try to find a book there's super good things on the internet, and then there's dark things on the internet. AI is similar. It's just a matter of what you feed it. And so I think we have to make certain, as legislators, congressmen and women, we have to put some guardrails, make certain that it's a positive force that can be used. I'm sure engineers can can say, man, we could be on this so much faster, and
100%.
productivity. And some of our business colleagues will say, this is really going to help us to do ABC right down the line. I think that's true. And I want to see that happen. We want to make certain that we're on the top of the world's engineering and productivity and petrochemical work here in South Louisiana. We want to lead the world in that kind of productivity. But it doesn't mean we have to be careful. It doesn't mean that we can not be careful. We have to be careful with such a powerful tool.
Yes.
Maybe I can liken that to a car that could run 150 miles an hour down Interstate 10. It may have the productive capability of doing it, but it doesn't mean that you mean to just take off and drive it that fast.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm about.
And I could speak to that, incidentally.
I bet you can.
But yes, I agree with you. And you know, that seems to be one of the biggest concerns right now that is kind of new, is AI and the ability to use it for the good purposes that it certainly could have. But
I just served on a 1-year task force on this, and we've got some legislation brewing, sort of culminate from our findings, some good minds on it. I don't think this will be the last one, by the way. I think this is going to be things that we do on multiple years. We'll do a little bit of work this year, and I think we'll get some things that will help. But listen, it's still so new. We've got a lot to learn of how we can use this tool to our advantage here in Louisiana and in the United States. And I'm confident that we won't let it go. It's not perfect. It's difficult. I'm not suggesting this is just easy.
Sure.
But you have to. It's one of those things when you're elected, you don't necessarily think, oh, I'm going to make difference in AI, because you're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
But it's what happens to you when you get elected. It ends up on your plate, and you have to figure that out for your constituents the best you can, for the business world and for our children, of how we can advance that and for the cause of good business and yet love for our children and our families.
Amen to that. Let's talk about insurance real quick. Insurance costs, something that, just seems to be no end in sight in the rise of insurance. And this is something that hits everyday people in Louisiana pretty hard. What do you see as some things we can do to help?
For the past 2 years, we've tried to look at just about everything you could look at, whether it was collateral source and what happened in the courtroom, or what was happening when insurance companies were borrowing money, or what restrictions might have helped or hurt them. We've looked at every one of those categories, and we have spent an enormous amount of time. Look, I'm not an insurance person as far as ever worked in an insurance company or never sold an insurance policy, so it's the learning curve's high.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of our legislators, that's where we are. And we have passed over this last year, we passed more insurance reform than probably any year in Louisiana history. Now, it's going to take a bit for it to, I think, take seed.
Yeah.
And we've tried to listen to what insurance companies are telling us that restrict them, and what can we do to get them in a better, because obviously we don't want them to just make all the money in the world.
Sure.
But then again, if they don't make some amount of money and find themselves in a better role, then you would think the rates can't go down. So
right.
I think this complicated formula is what you see the governor working on, what you see the legislator working on right now. And I promise you, it's not for lack of trying. It's not that
I don't doubt it.
We are meeting. I probably met more last year on that two committees than anything I've done in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
That's how much time we spent trying to listen to what's happening with the loggers. Sure. And what's happening with their auto or truck insurance. That's on. We did fortified roofs, which we passed, and we put money into it, and it's working. Yeah. Alabama did that as well, which meant instead of a regular roof on a house, you could put a different structure on the house. It probably protected the home a little better. Once the insurance company saw that they were not as a suspect to being open to that, well, the price went down some. It hadn't gone down where we want it, but It's moving. So we're going to put more dollars this year, I think, into fortified roofs, which will be the coastline effort to try to bring prices down. So all of this, it's a lot to it, and
it's complicated.
I'm still learning, but those are things that we have done and are doing to get prices down. And I welcome those in your audience, because I'm sure you have some very, very intelligent people, and I welcome help.
Yeah.
If they know things that help, some of the best bills I've ever carried came from constituents.
Sure.
That they came in and said, hey, think about this. And I went and did it, and they were right.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you today, I need help. And if there's something in your listening audience that people say, have you considered this? They may be asking a question that I can say, no.
Yeah.
Because nobody brought it to our attention. If you're an insurance agent and you know 2 or 3 things that we've still not done, please contact me. Let us know what we can do to try to implement some strategy statutorily to fix that.
Very good.
And I promise you, I won't turn down the listen.
Very good. And incidentally, folks, I will link the contact information for your website, et cetera, so people will know how to reach out to you. I want to also mention that you have a very strong stance on crime with law enforcement. You work well with law enforcement. As a matter of fact, you have the A+ award for the Louisiana Sheriff's Association as well. So those guys recognize, your work with law enforcement. Of course, a very important thing. You would think that would be common sense, how important that is to a society to have law and order. And so I certainly appreciate you for doing that. I want to cover a couple of your other accolades, and not trying to embarrass you here, but you've done some good work, and I want people to know about it. You are the most valuable policymaker multiple times by Louisiana Business and Industry. Very important to me personally. Small business is my wheelhouse. It is who I advocate for as a citizen, and that's quite the honor. How important is small business to you?
Super. When I was a little boy, my dad had a factory job and not enough income. So he started a small business called Louisiana Fence Company. I remember it so well that I'd sit on the stool as a little boy. It was 318-631-1870. Never forgot.
Oh, wow.
When I was a little kid, I could answer the phone and say, well, Mr. Edmonds is not here, but if you give me your name and your number, I'll write it down for you. Yeah. My dad ran the business. My mom did the bookkeeping, and me and my grandma would answer the phone. And I remember all of those days. So it's what put bread on the table. It's what put the difference between not having great needs in our household. Small business did that. Yeah. And we didn't have any extra. I remember, Jim, one night at the dinner table, and I was just a boy. I didn't know anything about finance or anything, but I remember my dad saying, I'm going to have to go see Mr. Tingle tomorrow at the First National Bank. He's telling my mom. And I said, well, I'm just sitting there listening. He said, I'm going to have to go. This is a long time ago. Sure. He said, I'm going to have to see if Mr. Tingle will loan us $25,000 because we're not going to make it. Mm. And he went to the bank and borrowed $25,000 on a little business loan, and we survived. So I know what it's like for small business that there's a thread of just one thing. It could be their tax shelter where they are. It could be, and we just worked on stuff like inventory tax and stuff. We removed some of this last year that helped small businesses and large businesses be able to, have a better opportunity to thrive in Louisiana. Absolutely. And we'll tell you this, it's some of the business community right now, just investment-wise, the best I've seen it in my adult life, I think. Yeah. Billions of dollars of investment of trying to help people in the business world come to Louisiana, stay in Louisiana, and give some great paying jobs in Louisiana. And I'm all about that. Sure. 100%. Patrick Henry, outstanding family advocate multiple times. Of course, that's from the Louisiana Family Forum, which you have a long history with. Yeah. Talked about your importance in that. Yeah, and that's just core value. That's life. I believe I'm a pro-life guy. I believe in life. And that's just one part of it, but I believe in family. I believe in marriage. Those are things that are core values to me. They're what the Bible teaches, is what my parents taught me, and that's what I know. And so Louisiana Family Forum is built off of a group from James Dobson, Focus on the Family. That was the name of it. And they organized these policy groups, and Louisiana Family Forum is one of them, one of the best, maybe the best in the United States. And so, I'm in constant communication with them. They evaluate every family-oriented bill, every one of them, every year. Yeah. And so we look at them and say, this bill's really not good for the family. It's really not good for home. It's not good for dads. It's really not good. And then we say, well, it's just don't think that's a good one. Yeah. Or we'll look at something and say, man, this is a great bill. And so I work with those guys. They do a phenomenal job. They work hard, and it's great to work with them.
Love it. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Boy, I tell you, I will say this. This is my first visit, and I'm tired.
You're a pro already. New co-host.
You have covered the gamut of so many things. Yeah, let me just wrap this up by saying thank you to you and your audience. Yeah. I am so honored. I know people, they think it's smooth, but I get to serve the people of Louisiana. And every time I walk in that legislative chamber, I look up and think, man, somebody gets to do this.
Yeah.
And I hadn't missed a day in 10 years.
Wow.
I'm blessed. And I get to walk in and represent the people of Louisiana, and they're so good to me. They really are. I'm not telling you everybody's a friend and everybody's for me. I'm not telling you that. But people are so supportive, so encouraging. And that's pastors, business owners, people like yourself, and everything in between.
Sure.
And then the legislators I get to serve now are some of my best friends that I get to work with. Yeah. And I hope that I can just breathe some confidence into your listening audience to say there really are some people that really want to get this right. Yeah. Give us the benefit of the doubt. Come to the legislature. Tell us what your need is. Come testify in a committee. Make an appointment and come say hello or whatever. I would be honored to meet the people of District 5 for Congress. But if not, I'm super glad to meet with any resident of the state of Louisiana and work with you any way I possibly can to make Louisiana better, make your life better.
Well, we appreciate it. And I can tell you, you are fired up about what you do, and you represent all the values I represent. So it goes without saying that I support you. But listeners out there, if you need any more information, I'm going to link everything you need to get more information on Senator Rick Edmonds in the description of this video. So go check that out. Thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman, reminding you, love your community, support local business, and keep leading. Thank you very much.